Basically, I lost like 40 pounds, and it's all muscle weight.
You lost 40 pounds of muscle?
Yeah.
From August to November, you lost 40 pounds of muscle because of... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Introspect Club, a club where you can learn a lot about yourself through conversations with other people. My name is Damisse, and I'll be your host. Now, last week we were joined by the lovely Zsa'Vell Hawkins, who shared an amazing story about being a Christian, a devout Christian, who's also a stripper. You're also a stripper. Do you feel like that conflicts with your relationship with God?
It does in a way, but honestly, I feel like it's also strengthened my faith.
Really? Now, as amazing as that sounds, that's only part of her story. Because towards the end of the episode last week, we started to dig into her courageous journey where the entire interview was taking place in a hospital where she was being treated. Now, I want to give everyone a different opportunity to get to know Zsa'Vell Hawkins because this part of her story takes quite a turn. So strap into your seats and we're going to continue the conversation. So you're in the hospital. What happened?
I don't know. My body just went to hurting. I had like all these muscle pains and aches and stuff. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, well, go get tested for COVID because COVID could possibly cause you to have those muscle aches and stuff.
Okay.
And I did. I got tested for COVID. They just sent me home and told me to quarantine. I did that. Came back for my follow-up. But in the process, before I even got tested for COVID, my body was hurting and I started feeling weak. So I'm like thinking I should just work out and stuff to kind of just keep my strength up. It totally knocked me down. Like it took all the strength in my body. My muscles deteriorated and I developed rhabdomyolysis.
Wow.
As a result of COVID. They also found that I tested positive for autoimmune disease.
Really?
Necrotizing myopathy, which it attacks your muscles at the proximal joints. So at my shoulders and my hips is the greatest weakness.
Really?
But yeah, basically I lost like 40 pounds and it's all muscle weight.
You lost 40 pounds of muscle?
Yeah.
Over what period of time?
From, I would say August to now. I wouldn't even say now, because like I said, I'm on a slow spiral up as far as progressing. So from August to November. Yeah.
From August to November, which is what, 4 months?
3.
That's 3 months. From August to November, you lost 40 pounds of muscle because of...
Yeah. I believe I lost it before then. Like my mom squeezed my arm one day and there was no muscle there. It was just like flesh and bone.
But
like
that was before COVID. That was before COVID.
It was just soft.
That was before you had COVID.
No, that was while I had COVID. Like,
so COVID triggered all these immune deficiencies.
Yes.
But is that because you had an internal immune defect, or COVID developed it from thin air?
No, COVID from thin air caused all of this. I've always been healthy. Like I told you, like 5 jobs, dancer, athlete at school.
Yeah.
I've always been healthy. I had no underlying conditions. it just out of thin air caused all of this commotion.
So how long have you been dealing with this per se? Like since August?
Pretty much.
So what are the limitations of your physical self now?
I can't lift my arms. You see me raising my shoulders. I can't lift my arms. I can't walk. To be honest, this is progress for me to sit up in this wheelchair as long as I am and hold my head up. I just got to this point within the last week or two. I was not able to sit up. I was able to hold my head up. It's like a newborn baby all over again.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm speechless because like I'm producing this show to like, bring unique individuals to the forefront of the eyes and ears of my audience. And you are going through all this stuff and you worked up the strength and the courage to talk to me, right? That's a lot, and I'm very...
Yeah, like that's why, like, I can't, like, when the phone rings, it takes me so long to click it off. I have to put my elbow up on this table first before I can control what I do with my hand. My left hand is supporting at the elbow so that I can move around and touch my phone, or I have to guide it to pick up my chapstick.
But other than that, you don't have any real, like, mobility. You can't walk?
Nope.
And you can't move your arms outside of whatever you're doing with your elbows right there. But what you're doing right now, sitting up, you're on a wheelchair, right?
Yes.
So what you're doing sitting up in a wheelchair is the most you've been able to do for the last 3 months?
Yes.
That's a lot. How does that...
Devastating. I've shed a lot of tears.
But you're smiling now, so I don't know if that's like... I feel like if you're doing that for the sake of the show, or if you've genuinely developed like enough charisma and energy to smile despite the amount... I'm having difficulty smiling right now, right? So walk me through that. Like, what goes through your mind?
Like, even now I'm getting emotional, but like, I've been like, I'm not gonna lie, like, my faith is what has kept me at peace mentally through this whole thing. This is my third time at the hospital. When I first was admitted, I was able to do more. Like, I was able to do a little more, but I could not walk for a long time. I was falling. I actually had just finished a CNA course, but this weakness had already developed before they confirmed that it was COVID. I already was feeling weak. I was having trouble walking, so I couldn't walk for a long time. Like, I would just... You know how you work out really hard and you feel fatigued?
Yeah.
That's how it felt. So before it was confirmed that I had COVID, I was kind of feeling that fatigueness. I had done failing class at my CNA training.
Yeah.
And the day I fell at work, oh, sorry, I am a high school substitute teacher.
You're a high school substitute teacher also?
Yeah.
Is there anything you don't do? Like, are you also... like at the gas station where I put my gas?
If you see me catering somebody's event, I don't know.
Okay, all right. So,
but yeah, I had fell at work, and that was the last straw. Like, the students and the teacher had to help me because my weakness, I couldn't walk in a straight line. Like, my coordination was off. Wow. I couldn't even raise my arms really to write on the whiteboard. I could just write at like elbow height. I couldn't reach up and write across the top of the whiteboard. So that's what made me go to the hospital. And they came back and told me, first they said my liver enzymes were extremely high. They was asking me, was I alcohol addict?
Really?
Alcoholic, and some more because of how my liver enzymes were looking. And then once they told me that it was rhabdomyolysis and told me that my toxic protein count was 47,000, when they came back and told me that it could cause renal failure, I'm like, okay, well, what are we going to do about it? Because I trust God. So y'all just tell me what y'all going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit here and trust God.
Right.
And then they came back and they're like, hey, we found something interesting. Okay. I'm like, what? And they go, you have the most beautiful kidneys we've ever seen in this hospital.
Right on.
So
that's a compliment that I don't think I'll ever hear. Your kidneys are beautiful.
Like, so when they said that, it kind of explained to me the condition and how it usually would cause people to end up on dialysis, or they basically would die from renal failure with numbers like that. I was at peace and I just thank God. I'm like, you know what? God, you good. Like, these kidneys gonna flush this out. And that's it. They just put me on fluids, and literally the whole thing with rhabdo is you have to flush it out. So I just have to pee a lot.
So you're gradually getting better now.
Yes. That number I told you, 47,000, is now down into the 800s.
Oh, that's a big change. I mean, I'm no medical professional, but I would say that's a big change.
Yeah. So now it's safe for me to do physical therapy, because before it wasn't. Like, you can't work out and break down your muscles more when they're already broken down.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Prior to all this, were you vaccinated?
No.
Was that a personal choice, or it's just you just happened to not have gotten vaccinated?
It was a personal choice. I believe in a God of miracles, a God of healing.
Okay.
And that He protect me. So even though I'm going through this, I believe it'll be used as a testimony. But I can't really say like if I'd be an advocate or not for the vaccine, because so many people are getting it and it helps. Others have gotten it and it's hurt them. So it's like, where do I stand at with this? Because right now, currently, my doctors have not even recommended the vaccine for me.
I mean, if you're already in the condition that you're in, I don't think they recommend the vaccine for a lot of people with immune deficiencies, right? But at the same time, it would make someone wonder if all this could have been prevented in any way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, that is definitely a question, but it's like, we're here now.
Yeah, I mean, you're already here now, but it's just the question that I ask myself, because that's the ongoing debate for quite some time, right? And hearing some of your story, I had to ask just so I can understand context. Not that I necessarily blame what happened to you because of the fact that you did get vaccinated, but it's going to be something that the audience is going to want to know, and it's something that I wanted to know, and maybe there's a correlation. I also wanted to know how you felt about that decision of not getting vaccinated, given the condition you're in.
To be honest,
yeah,
I kind of got even more weary about the vaccination once I got like this, because when they first were trying to figure out what was wrong, that's one of the questions they kept asking. Have you been vaccinated? Have you been vaccinated? Yeah. A lot of my symptoms they have seen in people that got vaccinated.
Really?
The hospital not gonna tell you that.
And what was your okay?
So with them asking me that, and then some of them saying like rhabdomyolysis, they say that it's rare for people, from it can be caused for overexertion, but it's rare. But at the same time, they are saying that now with COVID in the air, that they're seeing more rhabdomyolysis cases with COVID. So that leads me to believe that some people are not even dying from just COVID, but they could possibly die 2 months later after having COVID if they have rhabdomyolysis and they didn't know it. Now they've died from renal failure that they didn't know was there.
Wow.
So my biggest take from this, and that I would tell people, would be, please follow up with your doctors after having COVID, because you don't know You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was weak thinking that I just needed to work out.
Yeah.
Not knowing I was killing myself. I really was hurting my muscles more than helping them by working out with rhabdomyolysis. You don't do that.
Wow. That's
so it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's
a
whole
lot of different
lot.
variables.
That's a whole lot. But I'm now wondering, like, you still are questioning the vaccine as a whole, which I understand given what you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But how were you at taking precautions as a whole when you were out and about during COVID? Because you did say you were still dancing as a stripper while the pandemic was going on, and then you contracted COVID and now it paralyzed you, right? Yeah. But what
I would say, definitely still taking precautions.
So you
I would take my precautions for the most part, but I still kind of just, I don't know, like I didn't have no fear of it.
You didn't have any fear of it, but do you feel like that was a wise decision given what you experienced?
No, not really.
So if you could go back now.
Not really. I mean, now I would probably just be like, you know what, Chevy, just be on the safe side, just wear your mask. I've always kept stuff clean and disinfected and stuff. I'm not going to say I'm a germaphobe, but that's just how I am anyway. So I really, to be honest, like when COVID came around, it really didn't change much of how I live.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? The only difference would be the mask. And I would hate because I cannot breathe in this thing. But that was literally like the only difference. Like I'm still a firm believer in you get germs from touching stuff.
How did your mom respond to you getting the disease and being paralyzed by it?
My mom has been my number one supporter. She has been there when I was still able-bodied. I was weak. I told her first, she didn't take me serious. I'm drama queen to the max, so whatever. I don't blame her. But I was very weak and my body was hurting and my ability to raise my arms and stuff had started becoming limited. So I told her, I was like, Mom, I've been having trouble trying to take a shower. Can you please give me a shower? And she's like, I ain't giving you no shower. I'm like, Mom.
That's how she sound like?
I'm like, Mom, I'm serious. Like my body is hurting. I just want a good scrub down to scrub my body.
Yeah.
So it started turning into me like getting a shower by her probably like once a week. But the rest of the week, I just, struggle through it and do my best. But like, I'm like, okay, look, I need a scrub. But the first time she did it with an attitude because she didn't want to do it. And she scrubbed me so hard. And I started crying real tears.
Because it hurt.
Because I was actually in pain. And when she saw that, she was like, wait.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, you were serious. I'm crying. I'm like, yes, everything hurts. So after that, she's like, you need to go to the doctor and stop,
Yeah.
I don't never try to go to the doctor. She's like, you need to go to the doctor. And that night when I laid on the couch and when she went to come in there, yes, I'm grown, but my mama still give me a hug and kiss before I go to sleep. And when she came in there, she rubbed my arm, just like rub my arm, just saying good night. She said, why does your arm feel like that? And what had happened, all that muscle had done already broke down. It just felt like flesh and bones. She squeezed my arm and it was, how you squeeze your arm, you can feel your muscles.
Yeah.
None of that was there.
So it's just bone.
Just went straight to the bone. And after that, she's like, you need to go to the doctor. I was like, well, Mom, I got my CNA class. It was only 3 days. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'll just go after I'm done with class. Wow. So I literally got admitted to the hospital the next day after my last day of class.
That is heart-wrenching to go through something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
She took care of me when I had COVID. Like she was bringing all my stuff to my room.
Yeah.
My room was the red zone.
Zone.
She was bringing all of my stuff. But like she been there since before we found out I had COVID, when I had COVID. And then when I started going to the hospital, she would come to the hospital every day. We lived like an hour away from the hospitals we chose to go to. And she take that job every day.
And your dad was What's his deal during all this?
Oh, because the first time I got released from the hospital, I was on a walker. And I went to go see him. She told me to tell me what was going on with me. And he just proceeded to say, oh, stuff like this happens to you when you don't honor your parents.
What?
Yeah. So
that is like
in my humility, I just let him have it. And I was just like, okay, Dad. If that made him feel better about himself, whatever, he had it. Because I know the truth. Like,
how did that make you feel when he said that?
It didn't really make me feel no kind of way because he was mad that like I said, I felt like I always pursued him. And recently before that, I had said, like, I had made a post on Facebook and I genuinely felt like, and I still feel like, and I said something about, if my dad was to die tomorrow, I would have no regrets because I feel like I've done everything I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
As far as reaching out to him and trying to have a relationship with him. That's what I said. He took it as, oh, you don't care if I die. I'm like, no, but where's the consistency? Like, I'm tired of trying to have a relationship with you, and I feel like it's one-ended. So I wouldn't be at your funeral screaming and crying over your casket.
Well, I mean, it's a lot to say right now, given that that's not the scenario, but I can understand why you felt that way. But I would reserve those, like, that thought for now, because you never really know how you respond when someone, whether close to you or not close to you, but someone dies, right? So it's like, I've experienced that, and it's just, it's a different feeling. And I'm not telling you how to feel. I'm just, even though how he treated you or the lack of attention he gave you, regardless of what was going on, it's unfair to you because you're his child. But life is hard. There's a lot of things that will impact how people act and relate to you. And you never really know how you really feel until that person's gone. So, you can't
really say, I can't say how I would respond, but I just feel like,
I get it.
Because I just feel like I wouldn't be as grievous. Like, I hold myself accountable for everything. So I feel like at the end of the day, if I've tried all I could try, I'm not going to beat myself up, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up for what I didn't do if I know I gave you my all. That's all I was saying. But he took that to make the opportunity to say, oh, when you disobey or when you don't honor your parents, blah, 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 this is the kind of stuff that happens to you.
But is there ever a time, because to me, all of this going on, it has to have an impact on you mentally, right? Like, you went from being a completely able-bodied person that was literally doing everything. You're literally doing everything. There wasn't anything you weren't doing. Anything you wanted to do, you just did it. You went to school. You're studying to be a nurse. You pursued that. You're doing things in your community, and you were actually a full-blown stripper, going back and forth, commuting, doing like this is a movie. This is a whole movie, okay? And you're doing all this stuff, and then just like that, at a snap of a finger, you're disabled because of COVID. Okay? Walk me through what impact that had on you mentally when you think about that change.
It's indescribable.
What do you mean?
It was devastating. Very devastating. Very devastating.
What was the thing that was the most devastating about it for you?
Just to not be able to do the simple things like feed myself.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be set up. Like I said, my elbows have to be up on something so that I can reach everything. Having to wait on somebody else to do something for you that you used to just getting up and doing everything by yourself.
Yeah.
simple things like not being able to roll over in the bed, not being able to scoop my hips or scoop my butt over. You know how you be sitting there, your butt gets sore?
Yeah.
I gotta call somebody to help me move my hips just so I can reposition and get comfortable. When I go to bed, I can't just pull my cover up on me how I want to cover my shoulders and neck and tuck myself in. No, I gotta tell you, wait, right there, come in, pull it in towards my neck. I can still feel the air. It's cold, like, and then like for others to not be understanding and almost scold you for being particular. And it's like, I'm not gonna say I don't think I'm particular. I believe we're all particular, because if you ended up in a situation where you couldn't do it for yourself, I believe you would realize that you actually like things a certain way as well. The anxiety that I get when I have to be introduced to a new therapist or someone on the lift team that's going to come move my body, and I'm afraid you're going to drop me. Like, I've never had to depend on someone to pick my whole body up and move me. So it's like, you know, I've tried my best, but it's not like, it's very, when it first happened, my anxiety was through the roof.
Wow.
With everything, like everything, anything. And it's just very humbling and made me grow a lot of patience, because I can't do nothing. Well, I can, because I can do all things through Christ. That's my belief, and I'm getting better every day. But the reality is, I can't do nothing for myself.
But it's getting better.
Yeah, it is.
So do you feel like with every day you have a new sense of mobility on some part of your body?
Lately, yes, within the last week.
That's good. So every day something new is added to your mobility.
Yeah. And then that's another thing. It's been a fight trying to get the proper therapy, trying to get the doctors to understand exactly how disabled I am and what it's going to take to get me back to being fully mobile. I had a really bad rehabilitation experience where I actually went to rehab. These people did not take me serious. They even spread rumors about my body being fake.
Your body being what?
Fake.
Okay.
About how young I am, that I'm just dramatic, that I don't need that much help. And they would literally leave me in there like with my head back, like.
Who's saying that?
I'm like, can you prop my head up so that I'm okay, that I'm comfortable?
Who's doing that?
The nurses and techs at the rehab center that I went to. Or I could tell them I'm uncomfortable, my damn head all the way back. I don't have the strength to pick my head up. Oh, this is new. By the way, this is an accomplishment, because before I couldn't do that. I probably would have toppled over and fell over into the bed. Before I couldn't do that. So they would literally not take me serious. They would leave me uncomfortable. And with my head back like that, and I'm trying to swallow, oh, mind you, my neck muscles, my swallowing muscles, my facial muscles that I used to chew, everything was weak. Everything. And they didn't take me serious. So they like provided the worst patient care ever. Like, they just did not take me serious. And it took, for the last week of me being there, I finally got treated how I was supposed to be treated.
Okay.
And I finally got some rehab that would help. But it was 1 week out of 3.
But that's not necessarily where you're at now, right?
No. After I left the rehab center, I went home for a week, and then I got admitted back into the hospital.
Which is where you're at now?
Yes.
So how are they treating you there?
Oh, better. I didn't want to leave here in the first place.
Okay, well, that's good, because you got me worried. I don't want to feel like I'm witnessing mistreatment of a beautiful soul, because this would be a problem for me. Yeah. So what is it that, Jesus, what is it that you feel you need now in order to continue to get better?
The therapy. medically, I've been cleared. They could have sent me home.
Okay.
But I fought with them about rehabilitation. I said, if I'm a maximum assist, meaning no mobility, how can I get to the level of being some kind of mobile in order to get accepted into rehab if y'all aren't doing therapy and rehab with me here?
So do you feel like from a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel your entire experience under medical staff has been during your debilitating?
7.
What is it?
7.
7. So the bad treatment you received was only partial in some instances.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, that's good.
I would have, like I said, it was more so when they sent me to the rehab facility. Most of the other time that I've been going through this, I've been at this hospital, at Tampa General Hospital, and they've been good to me. They were good to me the first time I got admitted and the second time I got admitted. The very first time I was admitted to a hospital was Brandon Hospital.
Yeah.
So Tampa General has done good with me both times that I've been here, which was before rehab and after. And that's the problem. I shouldn't have had to be readmitted to the hospital after leaving rehab. So that also goes to show you how dreadful and dreary my experience was at the rehab facility. I didn't really get much help that I went there for.
So what message do you have for the people who are listening to your story right now, for all that it's worth, everything from your faith, your decision to be a stripper, to what you experienced as someone who wasn't vaccinated, got COVID, developed a debilitating disease that paralyzed you while still not believing in the vaccine, everything put together. What is the message?
There's going to be a brighter day.
Okay.
That's all I'll say. There's going to be a brighter day. I still feel that God doesn't make any mistakes. Like, from the beginning of this lets me know that. Because like I said, after they came in and told me all the bad news, they had one good thing to say that let me know that God was still in charge.
Yeah.
Because what could have killed me didn't kill me, because someone greater created me.
Yeah.
And he created them kidneys that's been flushing all this stuff out. So,
well, I'm glad to hear
there is going to be a brighter day. There actually, I had to remember this after I went all the way down. Like, after I lost all mobility. One day after COVID, I was praying. This was like during my quarantine. I was watching the pastor on watching them online broadcast and praying with them and asking God for healing and a miracle. And I believed it, and I was praying and asking Holy Spirit for healing and a miracle. And I stood up with ease. I raised my arms and everything. And I went in the restroom. I took a shower by myself. I did my hair. Like, wow. I couldn't even reach up and do my hair. I did my hair.
I like that.
I got dressed. I called my boo. I was like, where you at? I got to show you something.
Yeah.
I jumped up and down. I did jumping jacks. I squatted down to the floor. Like, I did all this mobility. And mind you, this is all. It was 3 days that I was like that I had got back to being able to fully do for myself.
Yeah.
But this was after this was in the midst of me praying. But then after that, I still went downhill.
Yeah.
So once I got all the way down to where I couldn't do nothing, I remembered that moment.
Yeah.
Because that moment that I was in was real.
Yeah.
And I prayed for it. So what I believe is that God gave me a vision. He already showed me that he could do it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like right now I'm in a waiting period where he wants me to get rest, where he wants me to just focus on him and show me different things as far as even just the people in my life, but for me to just focus on him, that's where I feel like I'm at with him. So that's another thing that kept me strong. It's like, okay, God, you already showed me that you can do this miracle.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to wait, I'll wait. Because my testimony can be a testimony for someone else.
Yeah.
He healed me in that instant, but who's to say that there's not somebody that's going to hear this that's been battling cancer for so many years or battling other autoimmune diseases for so many years, or someone else that's fighting COVID, and the doctors are telling them that it's not looking good. It's not looking like you're going to make it. Like, no, you're going to make it. You need to focus on the creator because he created you. So you focus on him and don't let the doctors discourage you. They told me that there was no cure for my autoimmune, what have you.
Right. And look at you. Now you're getting better.
Yes.
Listen, I thoroughly appreciate the amount of like energy, despite your condition, the amount of energy you were able to give us today, and the amount you're able to share about your story, your passion, your courage. It's inspirational. I'm just saying that because, you know, there's so many things that I personally could complain about, right? And you are showing so much faith and so much courage throughout such a very, very difficult time, right? That I think it's commendable, and it's an exemplary of, you know, how someone should behave and how someone should respond to something despite how bad it could be. And I think other people could find inspiration in your story. And that's why I really wanted to speak to you today. And I thank you. And I can't say that enough. But what I want you to do is I want to stay in touch with you. I want to be able to get some type of update on your condition. And I want to know that you're doing well. I want to know that you're getting better. So you and I are going to stay in contact.
Okay.
Is there any way for people to reach out to you that you want them to do so if they have any well wishes for you, or any type of like, or for any programs that you want to do in the future? Because I feel as though you're going to have to write a book after this, right?
I'm going to have to write a book after this. I have 3 different Instagrams. So
give me one that
I'm active on all because I'm a hairstylist.
Okay. Give me a main one. Give me the main one. They can reach you.
To be honest, I like Fetish the Body, the Christian stripper, because that page, it shows my story. Okay. It shows you me as a dancer. I also have positive inspirational things on there with Bible verses and like just things to encourage other people. And then I'm now literally just now showing this part. Literally, I think yesterday I just started posting about the COVID thing.
Yeah.
So if they want to follow me at Fetish the Body to kind of keep up, they can. And they'll be able to see all sides.
You and I are going to keep in touch as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jeff Damisse. You can find me at j.damisse on IG, or j_damisse for Twitter. But for the club, the Introspect Club, you can find us at Introspect_club for IG, Twitter, TikTok, you name it, Clubhouse. We're everywhere. And also on YouTube, obviously. If you guys have any questions for the show that you want me to ask the guests, please DM us. And also, if you're someone with a very inspirational or fascinating story about an interesting life that you live or an interesting experience that you've had, please reach out to me and I can potentially get you on the show, just like we did for Zsa'Vell. And we'll make some movement out here. Zsa'Vell, this has been a very inspirational conversation, and I truly thank you for your time and your patience, as well as the courage that you provided us on the show. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Until next time, all right?